Hello and welcome. Right, I thought we'd start here. I literally did it straight after like yesterday's session. Did the circuit, and it is showing the circuit in that you can always sort of see if there's a bit of a thing that if it sort of works, it shows on that to a degree. Now then, where are we sticking this? We have got this here. I'm trying to think. Ideally, the best place would be around here. And we do probably need to, I think, yeah, this is probably not a bad idea, actually, thinking about it. Center of the farm. I know it doesn't matter in some ways, but we do know that productions are not as reliable as they should be. So, true center, it is, yeah, that is center of the farm. I mean, true center is there, really, but we've got a this is where the production silo is. It's fairly central. I mean, if you were going to like put a center mark in, it would be like all of that would be the center. But our fields, the lines of the fields, yeah, I always try to explain my reasoning really on this type of thing. The center of the fields all co-join around this area. So our farm center is not true center, where if you was going to draw a circle in this and sort of center, I would say you'd be probably about there. But there's a lot of land we're not using, so really your center, it'd be somewhere about there. So roughly center is where we are of our farm. So yeah, it's not true center as you'd like actually look at it. But right, let's have a look. I don't think so far we've actually used a. No, we haven't. So we need to buy. Now this is true. There was a brand new. Yeah, I'm hoping this works because yeah, I did this a few weeks back. I stuck a new set of chainsaws in, um, and like it didn't work. Let's see, are you gonna work or are you like bad? No, it's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. It's a still the brand that I'm most familiar with, but very rarely have. But yeah, we'll give this a shot. So then, if that is the case, we would like to. Yeah, unfortunately, so I need to do my alt super strength. We'll just take off like a few. Yeah, in fact, I suppose really does make sense. Around the edge here, if we're going to go center, that one. Let's just be thorough. It's not going to matter. Oh, I mean, let's be honest. The other thing is a resource that we can actually use. It's one thing I've not actually done anything about is I've not done any productions that require wood chips because I don't do wood very often, and I've sort of done it around myself, but I'm like thinking again, they're not just for you, like you're sort of trying to build things that in time become for everybody. So why are you not doing anything for wood chips? And that's, yeah, why I've been giving myself a stiff talking to in front of you all, but this needs to change. Although, obviously, I think you're always going to start with ones that you think are a good idea. I could have done, yeah. Notice there, it's a bit of a flash of red. Now this should be quite a big. Ooh, yeah, that's the biggest one I've ever seen. Since I've used this, that is, because it's not only discovered this by mistake, really, once, that you can actually do this. Excellent. I think that'll do for now. We're not going to like build an empire straight away, are we? Really? Now then, we haven't got. No, we haven't got anything. I'm trying to think. Do we do the stone picker? Because we're gonna need one. We've got a front loader. It's only the little. We have got a weight as well. We don't need to go mad with it. I've never tried to. You can grab things with the stone picker. But what I mean is, it is a shovel too. It's a possibility. I was going to lease the mover because it will earn us a bit of cash. This really. Actually, no. Let's do this properly. Yeah, let's. I was going to like say, oh, I'll just destroy one set. Yeah, no, let's not do that. Let's just grab a belt system, borrow my mover. Yeah, there's another one of these now. Again, I didn't put it in the game. In fact, I'm trying to be lethal with the mods. I only do ones you know, like one of each type. That doesn't mean to say that I've forgotten that this was made by somebody else first. But of course, as someone else has done the same as myself, and they've created another one, and theirs has reached the mod hub as well before mine. Although mine is in, he has been in for quite a while. Almost immediately after Dr. Julia actually did his, because I was like really, I really enjoyed it on Rizu Forest. Right, so we're going to least, because we've already got a means of grabbing loose stuff off the ground, but just obviously not that. So let's grab you. Let's lift you up. I do love this. I love using this. I could use it every Let's Play, but I realise that would be so boring. So that's why I'm being quite stringent with myself. Yeah, if you've got to create good content, it's got to be, well, that you hope is good content. You can never, like, do any more than try to do your best with that. Yeah, I do realise my character, as I keep saying this, it has got to be Marmite. Got to be, really, for me. Yeah, the channel's not done anywhere near as well. I know some of that's been discovered, but the other thing is I've had a lot of people through, so I'm thinking, yeah, it's got to be me, and I've got to be one of them sort of characters that not everybody like. And also I realise I'm a bit geeky, and that's, again, it's like an acquired taste. You know, some people, and also people do, some people like you and some people don't. It's always that is the case with a lot of things. There's anything else we need to shift? No, we'll literally send that straight back. I hate doing this in a way. But what can you... I'm a terror for forgetting. I do apologise for this, because really I'd love to be like Miss CP where you do this off camera. But I'm just a terror for getting, like, things and like, just not doing that right. So, now then. We did see the icon, so it looks to me like the Saki has actually worked. So I think we'll fan out. Like, no, we'll start over here. Being as I've cleared the space over this side, we will start right down here. Is one of the central... Oh, it's... I thought we were going to go super on this as well. I've never done a super in this. It's going to be cost. It's going to be cost. It's going to cost us a lot. But it's... Yeah, I just would really... I think we've gone big on this, but this should probably keep up. It says I didn't see this. Didn't see the super. I didn't actually know. No, 77,000 is what it be. Yeah, these are a relatively new thing, but I did definitely do the super. Yeah, I forgot to put the super in the XML, because this is the beginning. Yeah, it is actually. Ooh, or is it one of those that doesn't go that high? It only goes to 47,777. I wouldn't have thought so. Definitely still a bionic. Oh, that's a bit annoying. But, okay, well, let's go bionic. Ooh, isn't that typical? That's exactly where we had our stuff delivered. And so, therefore, we can't just place it there. Let's, I think yeah, I am. I feel strongly about this. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go and fix whatever's wrong, why the super's not showing. So I'm going to see you shortly. Welcome. Right now, I thought I'd start us down here. Now, I was thinking, is there anything else we want? And I thought, well, things like planters, seeders, you may get in the sales, so we might, it might be one of those things that you're really better off just to leave. So we'll grab what we've got. We'll take that back home, and then we'll get cracking. I thought, I'm using store deliveries a lot, and I always know that, but it is true, once the session starts, I found before, it can waste a lot of time, and I try to do content that respects the fact that your time is precious, and so is mine too. But what I mean is, I'm asking people to come in and have a look at that. So I'm trying to respect that fact that that time is precious, because I already ask quite a lot of you in some... Well, I don't expect you to watch all I do, but I do present it as like a vlog of a farm from start to finish, and there's only one way you can do that, and that is including the start to the finish, and I do. So it's... Yeah, it's... that's really... As the only way I think you can... It's just this one. It is the way that you can. This is a lot quicker than last time. An awful lot quicker. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how like an extra 11 miles an hour makes such a difference. 16 miles an hour is so slow. Now, of course, I did get used to it. When on the FS19, I loved the Fendt GT, the original Fendt GT. And it was 19 miles an hour. So it was one of those you got. And there were a few tractors like that were 19 miles an hour that you like thought, okay, I can do it. But the only bad thing was you did teach your patience. You'd got to be patient. But again, it's that I would probably still use a lot, like going across the map. Could you do that in FS90? I'm trying to think. It's amazing how your brain does tricks on you. Because obviously we know there are features available now where you can do that. I don't think you could do that, could you? We had to still follow me. I think you had to manually do an awful lot more on FS19 than you did on FS22 and FS25, because that was a major thing with FS22, was the fact you could travel your, I was going to say minions, but your workers, you could travel your workers from one place to another, and that was obviously a huge thing with FS22. The same as what I'm going to say, the infamous manure extensions. I'm going to say that because it's still not right. 2 iterations on, it drove me crazy all the way through. That's why I voted with my feet on this. I've already put up with it like for an entire game. If Giants can't get their acts together now on a second game of the same type, then really I'm just not interested. I'd just sooner, being as I can mod, I'd sooner just put it back as it was, where it's going to work. I just want it to work. That's it really is as simple as that, and they have not achieved that with multiple fixes and multiple breaks. So as far as I'm concerned, my patience has gone. It really is. I'm admitting it. There are times recently I've seriously considered, do I find another game? I thought, well, I really do like the game. I just don't like what's happening at present. Like that is the real issue. And I don't want to go back to like a violent game mode. But there are space games that I love, that like X, I could actually do that. There aren't many people who do that type of thing, but I thought, I do really love this. It's a really good, but even I'm sort of thinking, it's the quality of Giants software is what sort of, now do we do, no, I don't think we will, no. Let's drop that down. That's why it didn't drop, because I had my bots. And we don't want to allow great fields. I'm thinking this is Rabber territory, because this is a really useful, which implies that the Rabber isn't. No, the Rabber's more difficult. It's not got a front 3-point link. It is a beautiful tractor, and it is also quite a powerhouse. I wasn't trying to be rude. So let's set this going first, because it's going to take a while. And yeah, we'll see about the stone picker some other time. So then, let's just see. Yeah, it might get tangled in some of these trees. I always love that. I think all of us love the fact that the trees, obviously, earlier iterations never included the trees so much, because trees have always been the enemies of the AI. So let's set you going. Fantastic. I'm expecting a little bit of trouble from you. Now we did, it's true, we did this on purpose, didn't we? Because we were like, yeah, we'd switch that on. We need to like, we set a word going. Yeah, I think we will. The trouble is if you leave that scanner on, the workers actually scan with it again, and it costs you a fortune. I have made this mistake on LS22 at least 2 or 3 times, so much so that it caused pain, where I'm thinking, I do not want to forget that. Yeah, you've got to teach yourself these lessons, valuable lessons. You don't keep doing the same things over and over again. So it's very good that we've got the front box, because that will help us even with this, because they are very wasteful critters, these workers. There's no denying this fact. So we will, to begin with, obviously do the ooh, no, will they do some damage with that? That's true. That is, if this was a bare field, it might be worth doing, but I think it can just about get away with this. So we may have to put up, it is true, with like, yeah, using this normally. Now I am going to go into a time lapse because we do need this doing actually. Yeah, it's not as simple as I would like, where I don't need to do this. We do, because we're like going to go through and we're going to get caught soon that this is, you know, literally ready for us to do. So I'm going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. Too shabby. Nope, that's done, ready for the next. I say, I know the PH, we're going to do a monster session when the fields are bare, if I'm presuming that the fields go bare this time, and it's doing really what Agro Sul did last time, where it does 2 growth stages and it grows again. That was quite a unique sort of play on rice. That again, obviously rice is a bit, I know this is why at the time I did Agro Sul, but it didn't take me long to really appreciate it. It did much more than a short run on Agro Sul because it was such a good. Still, I do like the fact my pole does definitely stick all the way through that. I'm so pleased with that. I am. Yeah, it's the amount of times it's bugged me. But that's now. Is this? Yeah, it does sort of sit. I will do what I said though. I'm going to like stick stabilizer so it doesn't keep doing this here, because it's a bit annoying to say the least. How many times I actually stuck this upright and then I turned around and again and it had fallen down, and yet this to me looks fairly sort of flattish ground, so I would have thought it would have actually yeah, I must do a sort of slightly different design, I think, for a no, I can't really pull it to, can I? Not properly. I need to sort of render it like flattish, I think. can sort of do that, I think, around here. And I would imagine that should sort of. Now, the other thing is I could, if I did too close to the front, I could knock the collision. The collision's not quite, because I needed it to be, I called it stability because it kept on falling over. And obviously, you can hit it by walking too close to it, and then of course, or driving too close to it. So that may well be what I actually kept doing. I mean, it's this side is the best, obviously, because this is where you got to connect. But if you go past it at the back, it really has got. So let's try and stick it where it's still flattish. Literally put it down. Let's see. View. Yes, it does. So again, I sort of think I'd like sooner go for a frame like on that than not, because I just think it's going to be so much better for us. Right, so I'd imagine we look at that field. It's well, it's a big field. It is. It's not going to be suddenly dinted like that. But right, so we are going to need you. I knew you was around here somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to need this first. This is going to be for the animals in the morning. Let's go through to May morning and see what happens. I can't remember if it's. We did see that rice was getting a good colour. It was. So, I believe, aren't we supposed to be doing the whiskey factory? I believe it should. Yeah, I couldn't see anything wrong. There was something wrong that would have stopped it working properly. But I couldn't see why the soup didn't get appearing. It is definitely there, so it should be 27, 47, 77. So we've saw the 27, Whiskey Factory Standard. Then it should have another dark one at 47, which we saw also the Bionic. Not that one. That one there's got a weird little squiggle there that I must sort out. And then it should have at 77. Huh. Why is the Bionic Whiskey Factory mentioned twice? Oh, is that... Now that does sort of suggest that the... Yes, that the soup... Ah, it is... No, that's it. It is. I renamed the Bionic, and I have not renamed it inside the XML. That's what you get when you do a little bit of speediness. Yeah, because that is the clue to like what's gone wrong. Right, I'm going to be right back. See you shortly. Right, now let's get this placed. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm glad I saw that. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I was like, where's the two Bionics? And I thought that's because I copied the Bionic. Basically, I've made changes to the normal production, as in like, because I'd added Saki, and there's lots of places that I needed to change things within that one production. So then I did the same laboriously on the Bionic, and I thought, isn't there an easier way to do this? Why don't you rename the Bionic the Super, and then it will, all you need to do is change about 7 numbers within it. So I did. I'm a good one for like that kind of shortcuts. That's IT teaches you that. So yeah, I did that, and then of course I didn't rename it within the file, nor did I rename the price. That's the thing I forgot to do. So yes, it was completely, it would have run right had I have chosen the second Bionic. I would have for once got it cheaper, but no, I'm not into cheating like that. It's I could always set them at that in, you know, like 27, 37, 47. The supers are like the big factories, so they're still very reasonable for 77,000. Of course, they are made from reclaimed materials. Yeah, BA Industries do always wish to pass back to you, the virtual farmer, you know, like so that you've got a fighting chance with everything. That this is like a very, very big equivalent to a factory, so we do need it to sit just within that, I would say. It should just be about right. It doesn't really matter the orientation, but if we're going to centre it around the road, it sort of makes sense. The way I thought it might do that. But it's not too terrible, it is. It is. It's quite awful. No, we want to do the little one, because you sort of got to blend it without ruining this. Really is the thing that I always find. Yeah, so that's the real art form. It's gone into the road a little. But I'm so pleased that Giants have brought back the original FS19, because it was really good at this. the sort of like, let's just see the chevrons. Yeah, let me know as well, please, like, what you think about the chevrons being showing. Because on a lot of productions, they're not showing, but on mine they are. It's different sort of like. So I just wanted to put a bit of the road back where possible, but leave it just because otherwise it's a bit odd. Right, I think that's as good as we can get it. It looks like right for this thing, and would be a bit of damage. It looks okay. There's a slight going up which you can't avoid, but it's nevertheless as level as you can possibly. So only trouble when you meet a friend of mine who was in construction tried to explain to me a long time ago about levels. There's no such thing as a level really, because there's levels going into levels, and that's what he really meant. Was you've got that one going up, so you've got to try and meet this level, which it really is fairly level, with this that's not, and still make it look level. It's one of those sort of knacks that has got to be done. Right, so we're in April. We've got that. We now need to tell everything. Let's go into the whiskey factory, and I'm intrigued on actually seeing this super whiskey factory because I've never actually used it. Yeah, I didn't have. I've mentioned supers for ages, and I started to make them a few weeks back, and thought it's about time you made your supers, really. So I'm looking forward to using this. I've only done this actual. I've got it on. Again, I'm not overusing it. I'm trying to allow productions to naturally, like what people have done on the farm in a big way, and that's what I thought. Well, actually, sake. Well, I didn't know its name was called sake at the time, but rice wine. I'm sure rice is going to have a liquor. I'm sure it would. That would go well because we've already got a massive field of corn, which I believe is what actually we started with in the original map in Agro Sul. Was the spare. A bigger field next door was obviously loads of rice, and we had corn, so we got the same again. Not that I'm complaining, but what I mean is it naturally lends itself. I thought, well, you could make, add sake to this and make rice wine. And, I've also, with this, I've tried to accommodate normal game playing with standard sugar. And then I've got honey, and I've got sugar, the sugar that I've made with my sugar factory. So with this, I'm seemingly forgetting that we actually haven't got any of this. I think we're going to go honey. I've not done that. I think that's not a bad place to go. So again, sugar, and honey. I've got all three. So it's true. There's not much point in sticking everything in because we haven't got this actually done. So we want our corn whiskey made with honey ticked. It won't work yet, we know, but it will do soon. So we want the rice with honey ticked too, and we're going to have to spend quite a bit on. Now, we haven't got any barley at the minute, but now we've got this, it would be sensible to actually. So we want vintage corn with honey, also ticked, and that is it. Because sake hasn't got a. I've just done wine, as far as I'm aware. That's probably is fortified wine or something that's much more expensive, and it's obviously like the equivalent. So I might do it. It won't take me very long to do that, really, but. So far I didn't do vintage. I thought, oh, there won't be a vintage, but now I'm thinking maybe you're wrong, maybe there is. Right, so that's done. Now we need to put some. This is where I'm going to go bigger on this because it's got to keep a pace with, and also we all know that it does actually do things to your field. So I think we'll stick one at the back here that will go in between. I don't think it does anything to grass really, but yeah, it's one of those things. So we want bees. So we want the biggie, the 4-in-1 is what we're going to do. So I think we'll stick that. We do want it. Yeah, I'm doing this on purpose. So it's sort of it's going to everything. Do we do it more on the... Yeah, I think so. But I don't think the grass is going to grow any quicker with that. So we're going to go madder than we've ever gone before with this because we really need to go fairly mad, but we've got to bear in mind that we were actually nearly out of money. So this is a long field, so therefore probably not a bad idea to stick that like that. And I think we've pretty much run out of cash now for that kind of thing. They are fairly decent. So we want to stick the honey thing itself, the little well, not little actually. We're going to go big because we've gone big. So let's stick that right about. Okay. Oh, it's too close to that one. Right. Oh, it is as well. It doesn't care about the field. Smashing. So that's... Yeah, we know we're not trying to place another one. Honest. Well, let's just make that a little bit different. I know we're going to see it sort of, but just whilst I know where it is, stick a bit of that normal dirt. That's going to be a bad idea. Concrete industrial. I do like this one. I've got to be honest, for things like this. Yeah, you can see the refraction, can't you, when you do things like this? Say, that was about like that. But it doesn't really matter completely, does it? Not honestly. Just as long as we sort of like pretty much... Ooh, now that sort of did an awful lot more. Now it will fill in the bits. See, I've sort of getting used to the fact that it does actually still work, but it's just smooth, soften that out. We can pick the... Now I have got that mod, but I'm a bit afraid to use it. This one here, the Logi transfer, and it may not have been this, because I've got to be honest, I suspect I've obviously got FSG modding that swizzle things as around 2. Now if it does it again, I'm going to presume it was that, because I haven't used that, but I haven't had anything do any... Basically, one of my Let's Plays, Louisiana, was broken, and it had Frankenmuth's placeables within it, but also that Logi transfer had actually put itself within the placeables within Louisiana. So Louisiana was no more. All of the placeables had disappeared, and it had got Frankenmuth, like a copy of Frankenmuth. And I'd only used the Logi transfer on Frankenmuth, so that was the link that I made. But I also am aware that the game's semi-broken, things are not quite right, and also I've got a game that swizzles mods from one place to another too, so I'm like thinking there's about 3 options it could be, but I've not placed that since, and I've never had any issues since not having the Logi transfer in the game, so I'm suspecting it was that, but you can't really, there's not enough troubleshooting gone in to find out that that is definitely true. So right, so then that should mean we need to manually grab those every morning, and we've stuck down. Let's grab... This is going to be a key player now, because it's got an important job to do every day of shifting that from that where we just put it over to there. So yeah, until we've really got a bit of a stockpile, which with that amount of honey things, got to bear in mind that each one of those is the equivalent to 4 of the biggies. So we just put down about 12 or 16 big things. They are monstrous. That is a lot of honey. Just letting you know that they are big. So do expect a lot of honey to be being produced, because it will be. It is that good. But it's not, again, it's not silly, but yeah, it's... So really, we now need to tell the corn and the rice is the one I'm looking for. So we want rice long grain, we want that, and let's do that and the wheat, otherwise known as no, not wheat. We're looking for corn, Mr. Smith. Not, yeah, corn is what we're looking for, otherwise known as maize in the game. I've got to change these so it's to be more to your liking, because I've still got silly programming things like dry grass windrow. In other words, it's hay. Yeah, I've got to take the programmatical side off and put this back. I keep meaning to, and it's one of those minor jobs that you think, oh, it's not important. I'll do it. I'll remember one time, and then you don't. Apologies. Yeah, I will get around to it. So apologies for like putting you through this. I know it's not the end of the world, and that's why it's one of those jobs that I've forgotten to keep doing because of that very fact. So honey as well. No, I've never thought about that. Sticking honey in one of these. I mean, for us it's immaterial because we're right next door. So Right, distribute, both activated, all activated. So if we speed time up till 12 o'clock, should see a bit of action on that side of things. Alright, 12 o'clock has passed. Oh, we've got some honey as well. Wow, that's amazing. Right, there's a lot of bees. The bees have been busy. Busy bees. So we should see now in the super whiskey, we should see things in there. And indeed we have. Admittedly not a lot. And obviously we're going to have to manually do the honey ourselves. And it's no point. So we can see everything's moving along. So let's go through till May morning. I'd imagine our super busy is not far off finished. Wow. And that just goes to show patience is the key to like these type of jobs. It's just, and standard workers, I've got to be honest, are the greater asset in doing this really at present. I do think actually it isn't, well, I just had a thought about this is the centre of the farm. It probably isn't a bad idea to actually stick a couple of sheds down here, because you're right where the action's going to be a lot. I mean, yeah, and our ones that we don't use so much, like seeders and things like that, bit of logic could go over there where we don't use them all the time, but things like fertilizer spreaders and things that you're going to use all the time, the plough, all of those type of things, I think they should be stored in a shed down here. So we will have a look soon, although we are hemorrhaging money, so we need to earn a bit of cash now. So let's go through till May morning. Animals, I think we've definitely fed those, I remember. Yeah, straw. And yeah, that is on the up now. I remember we bought some more animals, so that does mean by the morning we're going to probably see a bigger dent in the food than we are used to seeing. And that's to be expected. So we could really do with a bigger than that little. Although I suppose it's no different to my 17,000 one, although it's slower. Yeah, that I think that's the real sort of thing, isn't it? So, oh, a nice tick up there. So what did we go down to? 65, 20 odd tons. Straw, 5 or 6 tons. That's not like milk. Yeah, and buffalo milk too. Again, you can see the difference between like what this does and what that does. But it's not that simple with buffaloes. Very rarely in there when that actually hits. So then, what are we seeing in here? It has put a bit more of both of those in. Yeah, we can see that nothing's working. That's because we've not got any honey. So we could now stick that mega amount of honey that is already. Let's just see your lights. Excellent. There's nothing wrong with this at all. What I mean is, you know, like you'd normally expect, oh, it's a cheap telehandler, so therefore it's going to be missing something, but it's not actually. No. It's just gathering, it's marshalling its honey. Ooh, okay. Apologise for the gaps, but yes, it's not long. We're quite spoiled, really. No, that's not how we need to keep going. It is here. And I have put my chevrons, it's all in the same where the grate is, so that it looks like it's going in the grate, even though really it's not. Alright, scrap those last couple. Now I think it does slow down in the winter, doesn't it? So no matter how good it is, your honey does take a bit of a hit because the bees are not busy in the wrong time, the winter, the dead of winter, which I'm not sure when we are. Now that rice looks like it's ready to me. It says ready to harvest, so it is indeed ready to harvest. So I think what we'll do, we had a big enough session for that. I'm not sure that we have. So let's feed our animals anyway. If we're going to do a short session just as a joining sort of thing, then we could do that. Let's get the animals fed so that at least there is some work done. Yeah, the one thing I was going to say was the advantage to my trailer, the little one used in this instance, is it's very, very quick to unload, whereas that's not. It's very, very slow to unload, as I've noticed every time, because I usually use mine. So I am still tempted in a way, but I believe we need to fit it first. Oh, brilliant. That's the so we'll do that too, and we should stick that. This needs doing, and I have forgotten it. Milk. Right, let's stick those all on. So we want the bionic dairy, we want Stan buffalo mozzarella, and we also want the butter from buffalo milk, because that's their secret, that's their superpower. I mean, obviously cows have got the ability to make chocolate, and their cheese is faster, I think. So it swings and roundabouts, but I really love the butter buffalo. I love the fact of how much, I mean, the goats are not far behind, but they are just super duper, even though they've got a terrible, as we saw, quite a stunted amount, they still make a lot of butter from what little bit they do, so that's very important. So I think our productions are not far off, but although we probably need, I think the straw one as well, which I might well be doing on almost every Let's Play, because straw is a common commodity that you find on a farm. So yes, might go on a bigger farm. I think I might do bionic. I don't think I'll ever need a super in that, but yeah, I think let's just see. This doesn't seem to have been working for some reason, so I'm going to have to investigate why this never ever seems to do what it's told to do. Like that. It's weird. It's ever so strange. I don't understand. It's just like it's not listening to the world of production silos, and there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I mean, with a production silo, if you look at the carbon silo, if it's got the pictures, then the recipe's right. It's strange why it's calling for, but it's not actually. Yeah, I mean, we've distributed from the others as well, so there's no real reason why the production silo. Just investigate. Let's do this properly. Actually, Mr. Smith, that wasn't on. It's this one that had got the most, isn't it? Yes, it is. There was another one too. Is it the Grassfield silo? That's also got an equal amount in too. So it does actually look like that there's a mistake on the person that's actually telling things to work. It could be the reason why it's not actually working. We'd only half done the job. So yes, nothing was sending to it. It's half done it, so I could see why. Distribute. Excellent. So I think that's everything. Carbon silos obviously calling for. We checked that. A mini self-sufficiency. We know we did this one. This was true, but it sent straight to the wrong. No, we don't need to. No, you don't need to activate to distribute. You only need to activate to make it. Yeah, so that's all right for that. Right. So then it appears we are going to redistribute ourselves from our silos over here. Yeah, I mean, they're a bit temperamental, that's what I'm saying. You'd think it would have filled the whiskey factory, and it does it in fits and starts. That's my point. I'm not really that being nasty. Yeah, TMR. See, I mean, why is it sent over to the grass production silo? I mean, it's almost like they're programmed to, like, well, it could be a giant thing, to like say, oh, I need to spread the load, spread the love, everyone can have a bit. So it's like just like the chatter like that, and they do definitely chatter. You know, in production terms, they definitely share the amounts. That much I've noticed through just observing over the months sort of thing. So let's do at least 2 of these, or we're not gonna and also we need to do 2 sets of straw, I'd say, to keep it so that we're gaining rather than losing. So yeah, that's my plan. Let's do that straw plane as well. It's amazing, you often view your mods and you think, that's what I've not remembered to do yet. Yeah, I've got loads of reminders. Yeah, I'm trying to typically I've not felt terribly well, and by that what I mean is robustness of mental and emotional energy where you feel up to doing modding, but I've felt fine for the content creation, so I've just cracked on with doing that and like left the modding alone to a great degree. I've done some tweaks, those I could manage, but yeah, not done anything major. Like, I just couldn't cope. It was one of those sort of like things where I was thinking, no, yeah, I was trying to listen to what my mind and heart are telling me. It's, yeah, you get good and bad times, you've got to roll with it. So although I wanted to do the Giants thing, again, I've done a bit of Blender work with it. It's pretty much there. I just need to, I think, add that frame so that it's got a bit of support, and then I think it's ready, because it was already ready. It just needed a bit of tweaking, because obviously, yeah, I mean, I didn't know. It was, again, there is no modding manual, although you could read the Giants. Yeah, it blew my mind. Even the modding for dummies is written by a genius, you know, like, who knows what they're talking about, but doesn't know how to teach anybody at all, because they're trying to teach you as if you were a genius. They're like, it's like Professor Boffin speaking to his cohort Professor Boffin number 2 in Boffin speak, basically. And that's what Giants, it's just like, they start to go straight for the big terminologies, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're on about, Giants. What are you waffling on about? Because I have not got a clue what you mean. And that's just, and I'm like thinking, you're like one of those, yeah, I've known a few people. We used to have a programmer called Richard when I worked for Dell, and he was an absolute genius. The man was a genius, but his labelling was terrible. Sorry, Richard, it was true. If you ever sort of watched this video, then I apologise, but it is true. You were awful at labelling. The most complicated language, your brain needs simple, and that's something that a lot of people have said. I'm trying to think of the exact very famous scientist that actually said that. It's about keeping things simple. If you can't explain it simply, then you don't know it well enough yourself. Was Einstein was the one who said that. It's true. So basically, Giants, Einstein is telling you you don't understand your things well enough because you can't explain it simply. So there you go. Straight from Einstein's mouth. Giant Software, listen to the genius, because he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, so it turned me off within 2 minutes of reading. I did try to persevere. I've tried to read back again and again, and I'm like, oh, it's like watching paint dry. I need more. So of course I've scoured YouTube and watched, and the best one I found is one by FS modding. FS Landscaping, I knew what sounded wrong, who did a fantastic little shed thing on how to mod a shed. And within that, there are lots of little snippets that are the real, that you need to know as a modder. And you've got to watch that over and over again. You think, that's what I was missing. Yeah, and what I realised after watching his thing, he put two new UVs on everything. So I apologise for those. They're like a model of your model on different levels, a bit like adding a plane of existence onto this. And obviously one of them is the water plane and the other's the dirt. So I didn't realise. So that's why my things get mucky. It's because they're missing that detail. And anything that is added to Giants through just a little... No, I'm getting too technical now. I apologise. Yeah, that's enough. It is. That's deep enough, really. For those, unless you were going to go into modding. So we've got that. That should now, we should see a bit of action on our Super Whiskey Factory. We should see the marks going away. We should. So that's not bad. 8,000 litres of honey. I'm not sure, we may have to like do a bit of sugar as well, to whether we buy it and just make a ticker up or a sugar maker. Yeah, I think we might just go little or something like that and just buy some sugar stuff in and actually do that. It's possible we could do that. I suppose I could build in a little one, like I did do to the luxury desserts, that actually does a bit of sugar.
but is not terribly powerful. That's more of a tickerer. Now that would be a possibility, I suppose. I had not thought of that until we just had this conversation. So, right, so that is all. Yeah, we've got a bit of whiskey coming through. Even the sake. Now that I'm intrigued in seeing that, because I've never seen it pop, and it's a long way up popping, because obviously it's 5,000 litres at a time. So, right. Corn's a bit more has gone through. Long grain rice is still 22,797. Don't know why it's not coming through a bit better. So we can't go through because we've got to do this. So yeah, I'm going to leave it. Did I do all my runs of the animals? Did I do the... I think we wanted to do 2 straw. Let's just finish this off properly. Do you think that yeah, it did come back down. That was right behind me. Let's grab some straw. Did I grab the straw or did I just start to chatter? Because that's the way that I am. Yes, it is true. Obviously, the one thing about this is you are concentrating on your words and the way you're going with those words. And although that is an innate ability, you really need your farming skills to be automatic, which is perfected. So you need to have got a lot of hours. Now, of course, that doesn't mean to say you're not going to make mistakes, but you've got to rely on your innate skill at whatever level it is to actually do the things whilst I'm concentrating on talking to yourself. But what that means is that my spatial awareness and things like that is not at its best. I've noticed in editing that I go straight past what I'm talking about to yourselves and I don't notice it. That's because I'm chatting to yourselves and that's got my undivided attention. So, no, I think we didn't we do the milk? Or was that yesterday morning? This is the other thing that I was I was thought right. So we're up to 88,168 litres of straw manure, and that is ticking up a little. Now you can't see the slurry in this. It needs to be actually standing on the threshold of the thing, but that too is actually more. So it is true. We want to be grabbing that out. We really need a mucky container too, though. I'm not a massive fan of using the same one. You know, even though I know you can, that's quite capable of doing that. But yeah, I'm wondering. Well, there's also the sales, although we haven't got much cash. Did we check the sales? That's true. We didn't. Wow, we really did not. Oh, a little, but yeah, is that, yeah, by Mateus Hipalo. Right. Could do these as well. I think we'll still have a bit of a it's going to extend the session a little bit, but I think we're even going to buy things like this. Did we? Let's just make sure that we've actually reset that, because I know what I'm like. Why have I got back in? So we're going to buy... No, we won't buy that. It's a shame. I think it's not for our particular farm. I don't think it's... we could do it, but we were talking about buying something like this, weren't we? Now we've just got this in the sales, but then again, my normal one is cheaper than that normally, so why would you do that? It's true, we wouldn't. Now that one we're going to need to take a loan out. So let's pop down the shop, sell those few little bits and bobs, which are not going to bring in an awful lot of cash, but that big thing will bring in quite a bit of cash. Now then, let's not make the mistake of forgetting where I am now. Beginning to get my bearings on the map. No, it's that side. You're on the wrong side. So we could grab a header and that all in one. And then we'll buy the big... It's a shame in a way that we can't afford. That's a big one, but we can't. Yeah, so we've sort of... It's caught up with us, all of these massive productions that have been sort of gone for the bigger ones. They are brilliant, it's true, but they are obviously, it's an expense that we were on 300,000, now we're on 58, although obviously we're selling these. Now remember to drop that, or else, yeah, it will think it's still got it on. Right, let's sell these two and then we'll get a loan, a bridging loan. So, oh, we've only got one showing. Yeah, I suppose it is a bit of a stretch. It's not quite in the thing, is it really? Let's go a bit wider. Should be fairly okay now. Fantastic. So let's grab another 100,000. I think slightly more actually. It's 204,000, I believe. Yeah, that should be enough, but it all depends. Let's see. No, it's exactly as it is. I like this. It's obviously 13.5 tonner. Ah, so it's only, but it is a real beaut. It is. Right, fantastic. Let's grab you. Yeah, it would have made a very nice harvester for us, but it's a little bit too grand at present. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm quite pleased with the Massey. Obviously, the only shortcoming really I find is its hold is a bit small, but we have a slightly better Massey. Do we upgrade from ours? I mean, do we do that? Is ours worth doing that? Thinking about it? How much is our Massey worth? I don't think it is. I think that's what we sort of saw, that the Massey was worthless on paper. Ooh. It's not, actually, but I'm thinking of trading it in for our bigger hold version. It will get mucky quickly and it'll look awful, but it will sort of give me a kick up the backside to actually to get it sorted, I think. Let's get rid of the debt. I suppose we could do. Oh, it is the end of the session. I will allow this. It is true. We really... Now then, yeah, because we need it now, so we're going to have to grab it. I'm going to run it properly from here, though. Just what I'm saying is this is the end of the session, so for once, don't mind, because I could do this the other way, but I would just like to show you me doing things. So if we reset this, we should get a little bit more from here. And I think we will. We'll do a trade just for the size of these. Not very much difference. This looks pretty, though, because at the minute mine's... It looked gorgeous to begin with, and then, again, for the same reasons I spoke of, they were not blended things, which means they've not got a dirt plane or a water plane on them. So, therefore, they will look absolutely revolting after a short space of time. And it is something I'm intending to do. I might get it done later today. So 84,000 and 88, and we are going to straight away buy the BI Industries version of this, which is a bit prettier. Yeah, it's not. This needs a bit of work as well. Yeah, I did see a fault on this, like last session. So I've got this was my original sort of one, but of course it is average enjoys work. So I thought, I'd just go for a Giants one, and I do love this one anyway. I thought so. It's 11,777. Now it might be able to have. It's a slightly better engine, but we're talking a Nats Whisk. Yeah, if you look at the original, it's let's have a look. It is 250. This is a 277, so it's a little tiny bit better, but we are talking a tiny bit. The thing that is different about it is it's got an extended hold. Yeah, and it does actually fill out, but it has a fault that you can see in that area there where the grain shouldn't be seen. So I need to pack that off. Do that later. You only notice these things when, of course, it's in use and you think, oh, wow, that's not right. But it does, I think, look beautiful as it is, but doesn't stay that way for very long. Fantastic. So we've already got the header. So I am going to... yeah, we'll do it now. We'll do it now because I don't want you to think that I'm going to like whisk that away. We're literally going to sort of take that. So it looks gorgeous for about a session, and then as soon as you start to work, it starts to like lose all its paint, like very, very quickly, and it goes all silver, which then it's all right. It's all right when it's either silver or it's like this, but yeah, it's still horrible. So again, this is something that I wish to do. I did start to do it the other day, but it was one of those sessions where I knew I was tired and it kept on going wrong, and I thought, oh, just come back when you're just feeling a bit more, you know. I see I've not sped it up or anything, but it's a bit more agile. I think, oh, did I not do that yet to this? Yeah, it's turning, so it's a little bit better. And its hold is the main thing that I did it for. And again, its field plane does actually come up from where it used to do, so you can actually see it sort of filling. Again, that might need a little bit of tweaking. So the only trouble with modding is you don't do it like, right, I started, now I finish. There's like, you notice, oh, my wheels are not quite right. I mean, obviously I'm playing as well, so it gives me an opportunity to see my mistakes firsthand, because you're using it, and that's what I like about it. But obviously it does mean that if you're inviting people in, that you're having to explain apologies, people, because yeah, it's not quite right, and it will be. Yeah, I mean, my flatbeds that I've used are nearly there. Just got to do the ramp section, which I've done but not done properly. It's the angles. It's very complex. It's the most difficult bit of modding I've done to date. Now, the indicator you won't see because I've hidden it. Yeah, I've obscured it with that the rear thing, which you can see the lights, the reflectors. You can just see those peeking through. So I need to like push those back panels in a little, or remove them and just keep that back as a standard massey. Really, yes, or either or. Most other lights that are visible. Yeah, the side one indicators we just saw is just peeking out on the two. Need to move that left panel just a little bit. Yeah, they don't give you much room. So we will be using this next session on our rice fields for the second time. So Agro Caipira, as I think it's Caipirica, but yeah, it's a real complex name for my little brain to get around. It really is, but it's Caipirica or Caipirica or yeah, something like that. Something that's not easy for an English person to say. Yeah, I was talking about this last week. English people speaking French and French people talking English. If you're English, you can't speak French as if you speak English. You've got to like roll your R's. It's a little bit like Welsh. You can't just Englishify Welsh. It's a completely different throat intonation. It's got to be, you've got to roll your R's. If you say bonjour in English, it's not right. It's bonjour. You've got a j, yeah, and like you've got R and sh. The way that you say your words, you've got to change the way you do that. Which is why the French can't speak English very well, because they try to Frenchify English, and the English try to Englishify the French. So therefore, both, when trying to speak French, English butcher it. As a whole, don't get me wrong, there are some absolute geniuses with language who know this and do it all the time. But a lot of us English, we try to Englishify French, and it doesn't work. It's a unique language and has to be treated as such. So yeah, it always tickles me. And it's true, I've often made a fool of myself as well, trying to pronounce, but like pronouncing totally wrongly. Yeah, but I do at least give it a shot. Yeah, I'm not right, stick. Shut these up. Yeah, these are a bit of a, because it shuts on you, so you sort of like got to go and then run. To me, but I suppose it is the right way, really, because that's the point where they meet. But it's when they're open, it means they rush towards you and would probably knock you off your feet. But it is the nature of the beast on Farming Simulator that is the problem. Yeah, it is. I do like this fort. Very beautiful. And I love the water. I mean, there are, as I say, I think it's the promise of the future is the reason I've stuck around. Because there have been times when I've stuck around from the beginning that it's been too much. You know, really. Where did we leave the header? I think we trucked it down, literally threw it down where we finished, which is there. Right, okay. Excellent. We are looking for a bigger header as well, because this, as we sort of showed, can cope with a big one, but we can't really afford, even though on paper we can, which is, oh, that's the point. I don't think we've paid the loan back. We're looking much richer than we should look. I'm quite sure that that's not at all what our finances really look like, and I would like to see what they really look like. So we're at 130,000, so we can't really afford. But if we get one in the sales, which you frequently, well, unless you're looking for one, you frequently actually manage to get that. So let's get this ready for next session, where we will indeed be getting on with the rice. Yeah, so all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.